Hello friends, and happy summer solstice. That is not something I thought I'd be saying with a beanie and a jumper on, but I'm having a little bit of a cold snap. Granted, it is 6 o'clock in the morning and it is always cool out here at 6 o'clock in the morning in December, so that is quite normal really. Last week we had a big heat wave and the only thing I came out in the garden to do was to water my garden. So I do this in the evening and my veggies like my lettuces and stuff will be ready to harvest in the morning. They'll have heaps of water in them and they won't wilt. And so this is why I water in the evening so that they have plenty of time to take up that water, and then I can do some harvesting in the morning, and particularly for herbs as well. There are some things that I end up harvesting in the afternoon, like tomatoes are the best harvested in the evening after the warmth has been on them. They just taste so magnificent. But it turns out the best time for me to water is in the evening, and in the morning is the best time for me to get some harvesting done. So last week we had highs of 33 to 40 degrees here, and it was quite a shock to the system really, and I just can't do much in the heat outside. So I focused on things inside the house, and I also did a lot of working. I mean, to be honest, I was running around everywhere, running my kids here and there to all the end of year celebration party things, so it was quite busy last week. And this week, of course, Christmas is on Thursday and it's lovely and pleasant temperatures this week. And of course, there's baking and things to be done today and tomorrow. But I plan to be out in my garden this week, bar Thursday, to finally get the rest of my seedlings in. I feel so behind, but I do have little helpers to come out here and help me, and hopefully they will today and tomorrow. We're going to do a bit of baking together as well. So I'm out here at 6 o'clock so I can try and get as much done as possible. So I missed getting a video out last week just because of the craziness of the season, and I haven't got much to chat about today. So I thought I would just take you through my garden and let's have a look at the growth of some of the things that I've planted, and we'll try and not look at all the weeds and everything that's growing in my gardens and beside my gardens too. I need to brush cut and mow around my vegetable patches. Everything has just really taken off because we had an amazing amount of rain on Sunday. And with that hot weather that we had, and then with the rain, everything is growing rapidly and everything is going to seed, and it's just all happening really. So I've got quite a bit to do, but if I can get my kids to come out here and help me over the next couple of days, then hopefully I'll be able to get on top of my garden. Okay, so let's start with these blackjack zucchinis, which I did purchase, and they are getting so big so quickly. I'm very excited. I've got 4 of them growing in this patch here with some lettuces that I raised from seed growing next to them. So these lettuces will eventually be harvested before these zucchinis get really big. If you ignore the weed that's growing right next to these beautiful cornflowers, I've got some purple cornflowers, sort of the plant's bending over a bit from the wind that we've had. But these are lovely. And I still have not taken out these calendulas, so I'm definitely going to be out here doing that. My sweet peas are putting on a beautiful show over here. I am still yet to harvest chives and freeze them, but I do have a massive plan to go through my freezers, my deep freeze and my fridge freezer. And I need to make a tally of what I have in the freezers. So I feel like I need to do this before I add anything new into my freezers. Amazingly, the mullein looks like it's putting up its flowers, which it generally does in its second year. And sometimes I find this with some of the herbs that I grow, that they end up doing it in their first year. And I'm not sure if this is because, you know, they've been put under stress or anything like that. This one definitely doesn't appear to have been put under any stress. So it's interesting to watch. I, of course, have all this corn coming up along here and pumpkins and tomatoes, and everything's gone a bit wild. I've got some sunflowers that I'm hoping to transplant in this cooler snap. So I have to transplant everything before Friday, I would say. So pretty much today, Tuesday and Wednesday, or else they won't have time to sort of settle into their new spot before the hot weather arrives on Saturday. So I've got these pumpkins growing, which I plan to leave because they go well growing under the corn. So these corns are getting so big, so fast. It's very, very exciting to watch them grow inch by inch. I'm waiting for these broad beans to dry off, and they are slowly drying off there. I'm tempted to cut these stems off and just hang them. Let me know if any of you have done this to dry the seeds. This cosmos is settling in quite well after I planted it out from being inside for so very, very long. I've got a few more plants still inside that need to come out. So I will get them out over the next couple of days. And the zinnias are also doing okay as well, although I do need to give them a bit of a prune to try and thicken them up. And I've got some sweet pea seed pods coming along nicely. And here I have another cornflower. This one's a dark purpley black reddy sort of colour. And I am so surprised by the growth of these potatoes that I put in this month. And I've got, I think this is a pumpkin coming up here. And oh, I've got a watermelon coming up as well. That one will be a stars and moon watermelon because it's got the speckles on the leaves, which it has on the fruit as well. And I've also got loads of tomatoes coming up too. Oh, there's another pumpkin. So these pumpkins and the watermelon is coming up from the compost that I spread here. The parsnips have put on such a great amount of growth and the leaves are getting quite big now. And the carrots are doing really well too. So I'm very, very happy with this row and how everything's growing down here. I've also got some magnificent sunflowers coming along. Oh, this one looks like it might flower soon. And there are some that are getting as tall as the Rio mesh. I love having tall sunflowers in my garden. This is a bit of a pickle here. There's so much food growing in this one section, and it feels a little bit too late to be transplanting sunflowers when they're this massive, and also when the pumpkins have taken off as well. So I'm inclined to leave these plants, even though I have got all these carrots underneath. And of course, carrots need lots of water too. So I'm just going to have to keep the water up to this section and hope that the carrots get enough to develop. And I might take out some of the sunflowers. We'll see. But that pumpkin has developed quite a lot since I was last out here. And I think it needs to stay if I want to keep it growing. These beetroots are doing really well. I can't really see the bulbs getting big yet, but they sure look healthy. And the basil is continuing to do really well, including this spinach here as well. And I forgot to show you the spinach I have here as well underneath all these sunflowers. The leaves are continuing to grow massively. And then I've got all this fennel here, which I need to get rid of. So I will be pulling that out. This area is my first to attend to today. Oh, I just spotted a few more pumpkin plants growing here. So this would have come from the compost that I spread along this row. I've got my kale under the netting still, and these pods look like they're drying off nicely. So I'm probably going to take this netting off today. Yeah, these pods have dried. Definitely. So I will be taking this off today and harvesting some of the seed from these plants and hopefully picking the rest of the kale if there is any edible kale under there. If not, it'll be going to my chickens. Now this garden is so overgrown. Let's have a look and see what we can find. Oh, I've spotted something already. This kale here. The seed pods are drying, so I think after this weekend's... Oh, hang on. Can you hear that? There are some dry seeds in these pods, so I think I can finally cut this out. It has been encroaching on my path. I did tie the trunk up, and that helped keep it out of the way so that I could get through here. But let's have a look at these carrot seedlings. They're coming up quite nicely, but also I am noticing some calendulas coming up and some tomatoes are coming up as well. So I need to come out here and thin out all the non-carrot plants. Yeah, I can see some of them, but there are some patches where there aren't any coming up too. And I've got all of these beetroots coming up as well. So that's exciting. I've also, annoyingly, got this grass coming up. So this is a main objective for today, is to come out and weed out all the grass amongst the carrot seed here. And these cucumbers are growing quite well. And I believe it's time to take off some of these covers as well. I've got a zucchini here and there's a flower on it. So I'm going to take the flower off because this plant's not big enough yet. There are a couple more flowers. So when I come along and take these off, I will also pull off the flowers, or cut them off rather. The bees are out now. They're not out at 6 o'clock because it's obviously too cold. But now that the sun is out at 7 o'clock, they are buzzing around. And I've got some really beautiful colours coming out in my poppies. There are some really lovely ones. And I will eventually be taking the poppy plants out. I will, of course, be waiting for these heads to dry off a lot more before I do take out some of them. But this will make room for more plants to go in, or more seed to be sown in the ground. This is lettuce here that's gone to seed, so I need to cut this out also. And the red mustard, I need to cut that out as well. Although I will allow 1 or 2 to go to seed. I'm noticing that there's not many bees on the thyme, and it's probably because there's so many poppy flowers around, but also perhaps because it's still damp down here closer to the ground. Now I need to come out and harvest some more of this, but I will do that once it's dried off today. And I've got some beetroots in here that are, oh yeah, these look like they are pretty much ready to start using. I've got the girls with me out here today. They're behaving, aren't you? Now my tomatoes, they are going wild, wild, crazy. And I need to get out here and prune them and tie them up onto the Rio. I also need to take the covers off these basil plants as well. This basil's doing so well here. This tomato's growing really rapidly. It's amazing how fast this one's growing. It's got quite a few leaders coming up though I need to take out. There we go. Needs to be propped up onto the Rio. Oh my gosh, the smell of tomato leaves is so lovely. And this glorious patch of potatoes here is doing so very well. They are starting to flower. And I am very tempted to pull out some of them or, go fossicking to see if I can find any. Some of the plants are dying off slightly, but I think maybe what I'd love to do is to see if there are any potatoes ready for Christmas Day. It would be lovely to use them. But these are growing so massively tall. I don't think I've had potatoes grow this tall before. I normally heap up the soil around them, so perhaps they don't appear as tall as they are in past years. But yeah, these ones just look really tall. And as suspected, these beans are getting a bit overshadowed by the potatoes. Excuse me, Jackie. But they're doing quite well. I'm looking forward to seeing some more beans popping up where I've planted some seed. Okay, friends, that's all I really have time to show you today. And as you can see, I've got a lot of work to do and I just want to get to it really. I am hoping to film a bit over my holiday break. I have 2 weeks off, which is very exciting because things can, get a bit overwhelming when you have all of these things on the go all the time. So I am planning to be out here most days. And we have some family things we're going to do, some activities with the kids, but just being here, present on this land and just taking in each moment and trying to slow down a bit among all the people rushing around is what I really love to do. And I'm looking forward to baking with my kids today. I always have more plans than I have time for. And I always have to check myself and make sure that I don't overload myself with too much. I have a lot on my plate, obviously, as a mother, homeschooling 3 children and running a small business and working outside of the property as well as trying to keep everything going here on our farm and in my garden here. Yeah, it can be quite overwhelming, but it is very joyful as well. So over these next 2 weeks, I'm just going to be living in that joy of having this space and just admiring what I have instead of wishing I'd planted this and that and had more time to stay on top of things. It has been a funny spring and start to summer. It's been later, so things didn't warm up till later, and my window of opportunity where I have a lot of time to dedicate to the garden went past, and then I didn't have the time. So when I needed to start planting out things, I didn't have the time to dedicate towards that. You know, weather can be unpredictable, and we can't be hard on ourselves because of things that are out of our control. So I'm trying to be gentle and just marvel in the fact that I have things growing. Yes, I've had to purchase a few plants because of various things happening. But yeah, you just have to go with it, and such is life. This is why community is so important to us, because where we fail, others succeed, and we can share our successes. So yeah, go easy on yourself if you haven't been able to plant out your garden like you wanted to this year. And look, there's always next time, but just enjoy what you have sown. And yeah, it's amazing what food you can grow and what does come from your garden. Even if all you've done is plant out your herbs and a bit of lettuce, it's great. Of course, there are things that you can still plant out right now. So if you wanted to sow a bit of carrot seed, get some more lettuces in the ground, just make sure you keep the water up to them, because it's going to get hot again, and they are very thirsty. They need water to stop them going into shock, and planting them where they get a bit of shade during the day would be great. So if you plant them next to something that's going to protect them from the west sun, that would be really handy to do, because they won't have the shock of that really hot afternoon sun. I hope you have a beautiful Christmas with family and friends, and I will see you again very soon for another video in my garden, hopefully with a tidier garden than I have currently. See you soon, friends.